Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're covering a relatively simple grammar pattern once again, and that is just going to be using the word irai to mean since something. So to sum it up, there are basically three options we have here. When we're using irai with a verb, it's going to be conjugated into its te form. So it'll just be the te form of the verb, followed by the word irai, no particles or anything. Then we just include our sentence, whatever we're trying to express, since doing that verb. Another option we have is when we're using verbs, but they're actually verbal nouns, we don't conjugate them into their te form, we just take out suru completely, and the verbal noun will basically just be its noun counterpart, and we'll use the noun for the verbal noun, and then we'll have irai right after it, and it'll mean since doing that verbal noun too as well. And then of course our last option is just having a plain and simple noun, not a verbal noun or anything, but a noun, and we'll do the same thing for nouns. We'll just put irai right after it, and it will mean since noun. And of course, the extra condition for nouns in this grammar pattern is that the noun itself, the word, has to be a specific time or event, and it has to have occurred in the past. And this prerequisite of having to occur in the past is of course going to not only be for the nouns, but it's going to extend to the verbal nouns and the regular verbs as well, because you can't say since something without that something having happened already, so it has to be in the past, of course. So in review, te form of a verb or verbal noun by itself without suru, or noun by itself plus the word irai to mean since, whichever word option we choose. So that's pretty simple enough. It's probably even easier than other grammar patterns relative to time, such as toki ni, because we don't even have a particle that we need to insert or anything. So with that, we just know that we have to add irai right after the word that we're using it with, and we just complete our sentence. So now let's go into some examples to get some example sentences. So for our first example sentence, we have the line Hitorigurashi irai,色々なことを学びました. And what this line is going to translate to is just basically, ever since I started living alone, I've learned many things. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have Hitorigurashi, and Hitorigurashi just means living alone. And this is going to be a noun, so right after the noun, we just insert the word irai. So since living alone. Then we have iroiro na. Iroiro na is going to be the na adjective that means many or various. It's going to be modifying the noun right after it, which is koto, which just translates to things. We're going to mark things as a direct object of the verb that's about to come, which is manabu, which means to learn. It's going to be in its past polite form, so manabimashita, so learned a lot of things, or learned various things. Combine that with the first part of the sentence, Hitorigurashi irai. Then of course we have the implied subject of I, or me. So since living alone, I've learned a lot of things. For our next example sentence, we have the line Kare wa 21歳になって以来毎日のようにお酒を飲みます. And what this line is going to translate to is just basically, ever since that guy turned 21 years old, he has been drinking almost every day. Break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have kare. It's just going to be he or him. We're going to mark him as the top of the sentence with wa. We have niju, which means 21. And then we have the word sai, which means age or years old. And we combine that with 21, so it turns into niju isai. We have the particle ni plus the verb naru to mean to become. Of course, we're going to have to conjugate naru into its te form here in order for us to use the grammar pattern. So ni natte, then right after that, we insert irai. So since becoming 21 years old, he, and now we complete the sentence with the next part, and that's going to be mainichi no you ni, and this is going to be a grammar pattern that basically means almost every day. We have the word mai, and then we insert a kind of time increment. In this case, we're using nichi, which means day, and then we have no you ni, and that means almost every blank, and we've put day in the blank here, so almost every day. Next up, we have osake, which is going to be the word sake with the word beautifier o, so it just translates to basically sake or alcohol or something like that. We're going to mark osake with the particle o to make the direct object of the verb that's about to come, which is the verb nomu, which means to drink. It's going to be in its polite form for whatever reason, so nomu turns into nomimasu. And so we have the whole sentence all together once again. Kare wa 21歳になって以来毎日のようにお酒を飲みます. As ever since he turned 21 years old, that guy has been drinking alcohol almost every day. For our next example sentence, we have the line 卒業以来彼女に一度も会っていない. And so what this sentence will translate to is just basically, ever since graduation, I haven't seen her even once. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have sotsugo, which means graduation. It's a noun, so we just put irai right after it. So sotsugo irai means ever since graduation or since graduation. We have kanojo, which means she or her. We're going to mark her with the ni, the particle ni because we're going to be using the verb. But before we insert the verb ao, we're going to include ichido mo, which means basically even once. Then now we have ao, we're going to conjugate into its te form plus inai to basically translate it to have not met. And so we combine everything together, and once again the sentence reads Sotugyo irai kanojo ni ichido mo atte inai, as I haven't seen her even once since graduation. For our last example sentence, we have the line Atarashii computer o katte irai geimu o shite bakari imasu. And what this line will translate to is quite simply, ever since I bought a new computer, I do nothing but play games. And so let's break down this sentence bit by bit. First up we have atarashi, which is an e adjective. It's going to be modifying the noun right after it, and it means new. And so the noun right after it is computer, which means computer, so new computer. We're going to mark computer with o to make the direct object of the verb that's about to come, which is the verb kao, which means to buy, and it's going to be in te form because this is where we're employing the grammar pattern. So kao turns into katte. So katte irai is since bought what? Since bought the new computer. And now for a second part of the sentence is just geimu, which is game or video game. We have the particle o marking as direct object, and then we have the verb suru changed into its te form plus bakari imasu to mean do nothing but that verb. So if game o suru means to play games, then basically that just means to do nothing but play games. And this is of course a grammar pattern that we've gone over before. So go check out the video with the te form of verb plus bakari imasu to mean do nothing but the verb, if you're confused on that. So we combine the whole sentence all together, and once again we have Atarashi computer o katte irai geimu o shite bakari imasu is ever since I bought a new computer, I do nothing but play video games. And okay, that is a couple of example sentences with this grammar pattern, which is a really simple one, and it is of course the verb or verbal noun or regular noun plus the word irai, which means or translates to basically since to mean since that noun, or since doing the verb, or since doing the verbal noun. And yeah, it's really quite simple, really quite simple. So yeah, tune in next time and hopefully we'll, or actually it doesn't matter if the next one's simple too or hard, we just need to know everything.